Hello, moneymakers. When everyone thinks YouTube is overcrowded, one channel is quietly exploding in a niche almost nobody talks about. The channel is called Viking's Life, and it focuses entirely on medieval Viking stories, ancient wars, survival in the freezing wild, and the daily grind of warriors from 1,000 years ago. And the packaging is art. Sepia tones bleeding into deep, dark blue cinematic lighting. The thumbnails and visuals are so detailed, as if they came from a Hollywood war film. With this content, in just 3 months, they pulled over 14,000 subscribers and over 2.1 million views. Not from 100 videos, but from 14. Their most popular video, uploaded just 3 months ago, has already crossed 3 million views by itself. So why is this niche working so well? Viking stories tap into one thing modern content has lost: freshness. Every scene feels life or death, blending adrenaline with historical curiosity. That's why this niche gets clicks so easily. The moment I cracked it, I wasted no time and started looking for a way to replicate it. And when I finally discovered the way, the workflow turned out to be far easier than I expected. So in this video, I'll walk you through the entire process step by step, from finding video ideas, writing scripts, creating the video using AI, and even designing thumbnails that actually get clicks. But there's one important rule on YouTube. Taking inspiration is fine, copying is not. The goal is to study what works, then create something that feels fresher, better, or at least clearly different from the original. And honestly, no thank you is needed for this. Just subscribe to the channel and share the video instead. Now, let's grab a cup of coffee and let's get started with the procedure. Chapter 1. Running a Viking story channel isn't an easy job. If you think you'd start a Norse history channel tonight, pick a random topic like Ragnar Lothbrok or Valhalla, Google it for 10 minutes, and start scripting right away. Chances are it won't cross even 100 views. Why would people care about such random stories? Smart creators do the opposite. Before they write a single line, they study the battlefield first. They look at which Viking stories are already pulling millions of views. They figure out why some topics blow up while others die on day one. They notice the emotional patterns that keep showing up. It could be betrayals, brutal raids, survival in frozen winters, old mythology, strange rituals, or forgotten kings. They hunt for the questions viewers are obsessed with, but nobody has actually answered yet. In simple terms, topics that have high demand but less supply. But that doesn't mean you have to spend days digging through YouTube by yourself. You just need a reliable system that hands you already proven topic ideas before you even open your script document. It's basically a prompt. I've already prepared it for you, which you'll get in the prompt doc, linked in the description. Just drop the prompt into ChatGPT, swap the placeholder for however many topics you want, maybe 20, then hit enter. And suddenly have a full list of Viking video ideas ready to go. Then you pick the one that lights a fire in your head right away. Because if the story doesn't feel epic to you, it sure won't feel epic to the people watching. And once you lock in your topic, you move into the part that decides if viewers stay or jump ship in the first minute. Chapter 2. Picking the topic is only half the battle. Because what you write next, the script, must be psychologically appealing to the viewers. But writing scripts from scratch every single time and keeping them good is way harder than people think. It's not just about stacking facts, it's about emotional balance. I've been stuck there plenty of times, and the worst part is, you know it sounds bad, but you're already too deep to fix it. Now you might be thinking, okay, just use AI to write it. But this is also a new way to mess a script up. Unless you really know how to use AI to get the best result of scripting. First things first, don't use ChatGPT. It will only give you a generic structure, cliché words like tapestry, alternatively, and in conclusion. Viewers feel it's AI instantly, and they leave. The fix lives inside the prompt. AI writes like a human when you actually tell it how to write like a human. And I've already built and tested a custom script prompt that does exactly that. It cuts the robotic filler. It keeps the tone natural. It creates something that genuinely sounds like a real person wrote it. It's sitting in the same document as the topic prompts. Just copy it, paste it into Claude, swap the placeholder for your chosen topic, and you'll have a full structured script in seconds. Then you read it back, add your own phrases, cut anything stiff, and shape it so it feels like you. That human touch is what separates skippable content from videos people actually watch. Once the script is done, this is the beginning of the most crucial part, where everyone fails in one way or another. It's called creating visuals. You can write a great script because it only needs talent for writing and an understanding of YouTube retention and viewers' psychology. But creating visuals needs so much more talent and understanding. To create a really polished and premium-looking video with cinematic visuals, you need equipment, tools, lots of time, and a high-budget production. Or just 11 labs. Chapter 3. Now it's time to turn those words into an actual world. The first step is creating your prompts. Every scene needs 2 of them. One prompt generates the image, while the second creates a video that animates that image. Open the prompt doc and copy the master visual prompt into ChatGPT. It already includes a place where you can insert your script. Avoid pasting the entire script at once because a 20 to 22-minute script is usually around 3,200 words, which is more than the model handles well. Instead, paste the script in sections of about 500 words. You can stretch it to 1,000 words if needed, but smaller sections usually produce better results. The master prompt is designed to generate both the image prompt and its matching video prompt for every scene. Next, open 11 labs. On the left sidebar, click Image and Video. This stage is done manually because it gives you complete control over the final quality. Inside the workspace, switch to image generation. Paste the image prompt for scene 1 into the prompt box. Set the aspect ratio to 16:9, since that is the standard format for long-form YouTube videos. Select the highest available quality, preferably 4K, choose the Nano Banana Pro model, and generate the image. You can create multiple versions until you find the one you like best. Within moments, you'll have a detailed historical scene as described in your script. Repeat this process until every scene has its own image. Once the images are ready, it's time to animate them. Copy the matching video prompt into 11 labs and switch from image generation to video generation, while keeping the aspect ratio at 16:9. For the input type, always choose image refs. Don't select start frame or end frame because those options require additional frames that we are not using. Upload the image you created for that scene as the image reference. For the generation model, choose VO 3.1. It offers 3 quality levels. Light uses the fewest credits and still produces good results. Fast costs a little more, but improves quality. Quality gives you the best output, although it takes the most time and credits. Keep the aspect ratio at 16:9, set the resolution to 4K, and choose a duration of 6 or 8 seconds, since those are the longest options available. Avoid using 4 seconds because the shots usually feel too brief. Leave the sound disabled because the final video only needs your narration. Background music and character dialogue are unnecessary. Now, generate the video. A few moments later, your still image becomes a moving cinematic scene. Continue repeating the same workflow for every scene. Generate the image first, then the matching video, until your entire story has been brought to life. Chapter 4. Your visuals are finished, but every story also needs a narrator. We'll create that inside 11 Labs as well. Open AI voiceover, also known as text-to-speech. One mistake many creators make is pasting the entire script into the generator at once. That usually produces narration that sounds flat and artificial. Instead, generate the voiceover in sections of about 500 words at a time. This produces much more natural results. Then choose a voice that matches the style of your channel. Try a few different voices before deciding. I personally use one called Charles because it sounds clear, mature, and expressive. In most cases, the default speed and pitch already sound good, so you rarely need to adjust them. A 20-minute script will usually become around 5 separate narration files. Name them in order, such as 1, 2, 3, and so on. It seems simple, but it makes the editing process much easier later. When you generate the narration this way, it starts sounding like a real storyteller instead of an AI voice. Chapter 5. Now you have everything you need, the visuals and the narration. The final step is putting everything together inside CapCut. Import every video clip along with all of your voiceover files. Place the narration on the timeline first, because every visual will be timed around it. 2 editing choices come directly from studying the reference channel. First, those videos don't use background music. Since your generated clips are already silent, you're following the same approach. Second, they include subtitles throughout the video, so you'll do the same. One technical detail deserves extra attention. VO often exports clips that all have the same duration, usually 8 or 10 seconds. If you leave every shot untouched, the finished video starts feeling like a slideshow. Instead, trim each clip so it matches the narration and the rhythm of the story. Some scenes deserve a slower pace and can stay on screen for 8 seconds, while others work much better when they last only 3 or 4 seconds. Go through the timeline scene by scene and make those adjustments yourself. The pacing of your edits is one of the biggest reasons viewers stay engaged. Anyone can copy the visual style, but without matching the pacing, they'll only imitate the appearance and not the results. Once the editing is finished, open the Captions tab, generate AI captions, and place them like regular subtitles. There's no need to spend time color grading because VO 3.1 already produces polished, cinematic footage. Watch the complete video one final time to make sure everything flows naturally, then export it at the highest quality available, ideally 4K, or at least 1080p. At that point, your video is complete, with just one final step remaining. Chapter 6. Your video could genuinely be great and still flop if the thumbnail looks like everyone else's. That's just how YouTube works. But you don't need Photoshop skills to create a killer thumbnail. You just need the right AI prompt. I already built a detailed thumbnail generation prompt for you in the same document. This is a plug-and-play type prompt. This means just copy it and fill in the placeholder accordingly. I have prepared the prompt in a way so you get the maximum scope for customization with the least heavy lifting. All you need to do is enter the thumbnail text, the key object, the character, the environment, and the emotion you want. Then, paste the entire thing in 11 Labs image generation workspace again. Select either the Nano Banana Pro or Nano Banana 2 model for the best result, and hit Generate. If your channel has brand colors, you can add them to the prompt before generating. Small details like that make a massive difference. Because if you nail the title, thumbnail, and first 10 seconds, the algorithm starts working for you instead of against you. Chapter 7. Here's the truth nobody says after videos like this. Most people will close this tab, feel motivated for 20 minutes, then go back to normal life. Nothing changes. But now you already have the blueprint, the research system, topic prompts, script prompts, 11 Labs workflow, thumbnail strategy, everything. The creators winning this year aren't smarter or more connected. They just started. They published imperfect videos, learned from them, and kept going until the numbers finally moved. Now look, I get it. Some of you are watching this thinking, this sounds great, but I genuinely don't have the time to run this whole machine by myself. If that's you, I've got something for that too. My team runs a done-for-you program where we take the wheel for you. Niche research, channel setup, scripts, videos, thumbnails, the whole package. We're already running this for 10 to 20 channels right now, and the results speak for themselves. If you're curious whether it could work for your situation, there's a link in the description to book a free call with us. No sales pitch, no weird pressure, no overpromising. Just a real conversation to figure out if we're a good fit. But if you're rolling up your sleeves and doing this yourself, then here's your homework, and I want you to take it seriously. Before you go to sleep tonight, pick a topic. Write or generate the script. Run it through 11 Labs. Build the thumbnail. Upload the video. That's it. Your first one doesn't need to break the internet. It doesn't need 1 million views. It just needs to exist out there in the world with your name on it. That's the only rule that matters. So drop a comment below and tell me what niche you want me to break down next. Whatever you're curious about, throw it in there, and I'll build the next framework around it for you. And if you got value out of this one, hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. We've got a lot more on the way. Catch you in the next one.
He stood on a hill in a foreign country, wind cutting through his mail, and watched an army of 13,000 men march toward him with sunlight bouncing off their spears like fire on water. He had 800. Some of his men weren't even wearing armor. They'd left it on the ships 3 miles back because nobody warned them. Nobody warned them the peace would end that morning. Nobody warned them this was the day everything would collapse. The man on the hill was over 6.5 feet tall. Enemies who saw him coming said he looked less like a man and more like something that crawled out of the old stories. The kind mothers used to frighten children into silence. He'd survived exile, prison, war in the deserts of the Middle East, betrayal by an empress who wanted him dead. He had clawed his way from nothing to king of Norway. They called him Hardrada, the hard ruler, the last king who still believed in his bones that the old world, the world of raiding, of conquest, of Norse kings carving their names into foreign soil with an axe, could still exist. By sundown, he'd be dead. And so would the world he was fighting for. This is the story of the last real Viking king, not the last Norseman, not the last man with Viking blood in his veins, the last one who still believed he could win the way his ancestors won, through sheer, brutal, unstoppable force, and the story of how he watched that belief burn to ash in a single afternoon. You don't become a man like Harald Hardrada by accident. You get made, beaten into shape by loss after loss after loss, until there's nothing soft left. He was 15 years old the first time he saw what war really was. His half-brother, King Olaf, dragged him into a battle at a place called Stiklestad, fighting to take back a throne that had been stolen from him. Harold was too young to be there.